interview on the news today, stating that he was subpoenaed to testify against Diddy in the trial, upcoming trial, which has started this week, the jury selection. But everybody know, the opening statements start Monday, and Al B. Sure revealed in this interview with Fox 5 that he was subpoenaed to testify against Diddy. He's been very vocal over the past several years about his feelings towards Diddy and believing that Kim Porter's unaliving was not her just mysteriously getting pneumonia and passing away, but it was done intentionally, if you know what I mean. I'm trying not to use the M word. And he suggested that Diddy had something to do with it. He also fell ill himself mysteriously and was in a coma for, I believe it was 2 months, with organ failure, and had to get a liver transplant. And he believed Diddy had something to do with that as well. So if you guys seen the documentary that came up on, I believe, Peacock, it came on Peacock, I believe it was, then yeah, you know what I'm talking about, because he really went into depth and talked more about his feelings and his relationship with Kim Porter and his beliefs about Diddy, and how Kim Porter was going to release a lot of information and had kept a diary where she wrote down things that was happening to her and the things that Diddy was doing. And so he believed that that was Diddy's motive to get Kim out of here, okay? So what I'm going to do is play this interview so that you guys can hear it and hear what he said on the news today and surrounding him testifying against Diddy, okay?
And Roseanne.
Al, the last time you were here, you could barely walk up the step to sit down here. Barely.
You were my first interview with Cristal, right?
Yes.
When I was released from the hospital, and it was just, what an amazing journey it's been. I figured, look, when you get lemons, make Arnold Palmer.
So what are you doing now? How are you getting the word out?
Well, it's been an amazing journey. I get the call from my co-founder, Ms. Rachel Nordlinger. We started the Health Equity and Transplantation Coalition, and we are advocating in Congress, fighting for equal access to quality health care, just focused, and my focus, obviously, standing in Congress and speaking in front of Congress, I've made it very clear. I am not here for the politics. I'm not here for the next election. I'm simply here to save lives of transplant patients. So, so there's a focus there. We've had some success in Congress related to having people come across the aisle, because I made that clear. So this is a real life mission. There's no marketing in my life. Roseanne, this is the best time of my life.
You look good.
This is not, there's no hustle, there's no marketing, I'm living my truth, and it's time.
So you were in that coma in 2022. You had the liver transplant, you had the tracheotomy, all that stuff that went on.
Multi-system organ failure.
Yeah,
60.
Right. Have they figured out what happened yet?
We will.
No, I mean, have the doctors, medically, what happened to you?
Yeah,
because you just collapsed, right?
Yeah, so, just mysteriously out of the blue, which we do talk about in the book.
Yes,
what that,
I want to get into that.
What that process is. But so it's been quite a journey. And as I said, even as it relates to writing the book, I went through almost more than a decade of being scrutinized and clowned by law enforcement, them telling me, you need some help. Sex trafficking, really? What's wrong with you? No way, just...
And see, now that's crazy. He's talking about how he went to the authorities, but they didn't help him. They felt that he was, or they was trying to make him believe that they felt he was losing his mind, that it was just over the top. So he did go to the authorities. And you guys just heard him say, that when he fell ill, it was just mysterious. It was out of the blue. He collapsed out of the blue and nothing was wrong with him. The same thing with Kim Porter. He had just spent time with her 2 weeks before her passing, and they went to an event, a Netflix event together with Diddy and the children, and she was perfectly fine. And then 2 weeks later, she was gone.
But not realizing that they were also working for the situation.
Because you were hinting, saying...
Posting. Yeah. I get calls take it down or else, so on and so forth.
But this is about Diddy, so let's be clear for everybody that doesn't know.
Diddy.
So they was threatening him. He, as you heard him say, they was calling him, telling him to take posts down or else they was gonna do something. So he was getting threats. So, you know, yeah, it's crazy what he went through, and it's really sad. And he really gave a lot of insight, even in the documentary. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you to go watch it. But most people seen it by now. And he gave a lot of insight into what it was like to be a part of this situation and to even know Diddy or not be, you know, on the right side of him liking you. So he gave a lot of insight into that. And yeah, Diddy was, the crazy part is he have pictures of him with Diddy, and I've seen pictures, you guys probably have too. The whole time Diddy didn't like him, but I mean, you wouldn't think he would anyway. It was just crazy how he explained how Diddy got with Kim. He was with Kim first, and basically Diddy stole her. Even though I always say if somebody can be stolen, you never had them. But that's besides the point. He should have never trusted Diddy to begin with. And he was warned by Kim Porter several times over the years to not trust Diddy. She was scared for him in his life, and she stressed that to him to be careful because Diddy had it out for him. Allegedly. Everything in this video is alleged.
Who's about to, his trial's about to start. Yeah, yes. They're selecting a jury.
But you were on this train years ago.
Yes, many, many years ago. I posted some information that was, you know, basically trying to save my life. And thank goodness to my ex, you know, the wonderful Kim Porter, the late Kim Porter, who, you know, kind of warned me all along the way to, you know, just kind of watch your back, so on and so forth. And I didn't understand why.
Because of Diddy.
Basically.
Do you believe that she died of pneumonia?
Absolutely not.
Why? What evidence do you have?
She was in the best of health. We just saw each other prior to her passing. We were actually celebrating our son's new Netflix Christmas special, and she was doing just fine. In fact, we were all at the event together at Netflix in the lobby. Sean, myself, the children, you know, all having a great time, and I'm, you know, grabbing Sean like, what? And she's in the back going, stop, you know. So it was a really festive opportunity just for all of us to be together, because it's nothing like the circus that's out here. So it was a lot of the stuff, you know, came to surprise, but a lot of the stuff will be revealed because, and that's why I thought it would be a good idea to finally tell my story. Every network came to me, participate and so on and so, but I said, listen, I have no interest in speaking about another man.
But you are in the book.
Yeah, right. But this, I will speak about where our paths cross and what's most relevant. It's something I've been trying to say for many, many years. And unfortunately, Roseanne, even with Sean being incarcerated, that's not a celebration. There's no celebration in it. First and foremost, there's way too much collateral damage, and in many, many ways. Many people's lives are affected. And in fact, a genre of music that I grew up in is ruined right now.
You're blaming Diddy for that?
I'm blaming this entire industry and the way it's gone. And, you know, there's no one person that's in charge, but this level and this magnitude of a story, of detriment, of diabolical, you know, just heinous, you know, whatever's really going on, it's unfortunate.
Is Diddy suing you or threatening to sue you?
No.
No?
I have the truth.
But one thing is, you have volunteered to testify at the trial, correct?
Not as of yet. Actually, I was subpoenaed.
Okay.
So my attorneys worked something out. So I believe when the time is right, you know, I'm going to discuss it with my attorneys.
But you're willing to?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I am. You know, and again, there's no, like I said, this is not marketing for me. I'm living this life. And
So
the
let me
only
ask-
reason I wanted to tell the story, Kurt, was very specifically because I was ignored. There was the most expensive PR campaign against me to shut me down. If you actually knew what they did to me, there was a bounty on my head. There was a bunch of stuff.
So do you think specifically then that Sean Diddy Combs or people affiliated with him did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure?
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Wow.
My first time saying it.
Are you concerned?
And he said it was a bounty on him. It was a bounty on him. I'm wondering, like, what proof do they have of that? I can't remember if he talked about that in the documentary. I gotta go back. It's been a minute. But yeah, I wonder if they got proof of that, because that's not gonna be looking good. Because that's basically attempted, you know what, the M word. And so it's just crazy. And even with him getting sick mysteriously, they asked him, what did the doctors say medically? What did they say? What caused this? And he didn't really go into detail. He just said it happened, you know, basically abruptly and out of the blue. Just he collapsed. But he did say he will go into more detail in his book that's coming out in September. I will be getting it. But I'm sure during the trial, well, I'm hoping during the trial, if he do testify, that they revealed that, because that's what I've been wondering, like, exactly what happened. What did the doctors say? Like, if the doctors can confirm that something fishy happened, that's crazy, because that's what I want to hear. Like, what did the doctor say? Like, okay, this is what happened, or more than likely somebody did this to you, or like, that's what I guess everybody, we trying to hear that, but he didn't really reveal that right here. And they asked him twice, two separate times, like, and he's not really getting into details of what exactly happened, as far as what did the doctors say. How did you mysteriously just, you know, pass out and have organ failure, needed a liver transplant? Like, that's, you know, not common for somebody who never had health issues and no issues before. So yeah, and the crazy part is the same thing happened to Kim Porter. It's so weird how I've heard this so many times, and if you guys been following this case, I'm sure you guys have heard this several times too, of people mysteriously getting pneumonia that's been in contact with Diddy or got in his bad graces, and then all of a sudden that they got pneumonia. What's up with this pneumonia thing? Because that seemed like that was happening to a lot of people that was had connections with Diddy. Allegedly, everything in this video is alleged again, but seriously, that seemed like something that was happening. And he even said in this interview, like, I'm the only one that is still alive that was, you know, on Diddy's bedside. Basically, in simple words, he's the only one that's still alive that was on Diddy's bedside, and an attempt to get him up out of here. And he the only one who survived. Everybody else, they gone. Okay? And I'm gonna keep playing it so that hopefully we can get to that part soon, so you can hear it for yourself.
That he still has power outside of incarceration?
Remember, I'm the only one who spoke up, and I'm the only one left alive. So this is not about a scared thing, you know. It's just time to reveal the truth. I mean, it is what it is. I went through many years of scrutiny and being dragged face first on the concrete, you know, being called delusional and things of that nature. When I said and all the things that I said, because my job was not, listen, I don't want to take down your business if that's what you're doing. Just stay out of my backyard.
Okay, so you guys just heard it for yourself. I didn't know it was going to come that fast, but you heard it for yourself. He's the only one still alive. That, you know, an attempt to get him out of here didn't work. So, yeah, I just wonder, like, what proof, if any, do he have? I'm hoping it's something. I would guess that he would not be subpoenaed for nothing. But maybe they just subpoenaed him to get, like, some character evidence from him, you know, just to prove that. Maybe it's not to go into detail about Kim Porter as much as we think it is, because I can't imagine that they'll waste time talking about his accusations if they don't have proof. The judge probably wouldn't want to hear it, because it's all speculation unless they have proof. And the judge is probably more than likely not going to let them just sit there and do speculation. I'm sure of that, okay? But I'm wondering if they do. You never know. We're talking about the feds. This is not on a state level. This is the feds, and they don't play. Honey, they can pull up some stuff. If you ever watch ID Discovery, then you know, honey, some things can be solved from a speck. Literally a speck, a grain of rice can solve a mystery, okay? So, you just never know. But I'm eager to find out because I've been wondering what's up with this situation, and I'm sure most of us have. But yes, I'm gonna end it here. If you guys want to finish watching, this interview is on Fox 5. I don't want this video to be too long, but he will be testifying, and that's one of the things that I wanted to reveal here in this video. He said that he will be testifying. He was subpoenaed, and I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be asking him and what their motive is for having him come in to testify, and if there's any evidence that can prove what he's suggesting as far as himself and Kim Porter, and it would be nice if it is some evidence because people want to know. There's been a lot of people speculating that something mysterious happened to this lady and she was in good health, and just out of nowhere she gets pneumonia and just passed away so abruptly and fast. Like, what's up? So yeah, I'm sure people will want answers to that, and if that's the case, Diddy will be looking at even more serious charges, which would be attempt the M word, okay, and M. And when it comes to Kim Porter, if they have anything, so I don't know how that's going to work, and it would, because I see people reporting that Diddy has new charges or will have new charges of the M word, and that's not necessarily true because we don't know exactly what's going to happen and from what angle the prosecution is going to have. I'll be sure to testify if it's going to be just for character evidence or, just to give his experience about Diddy's behavior, or do they have something more concrete that can prove what I'll be sure has been suggesting this entire time, even in that documentary. So it's just something that I'm looking forward to hearing about, and yeah, we're just gonna have to wait. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit more serious though if they have something, and it's very possible. You never know when it comes to the feds. They usually come fully prepared, and they drop a bombshell when you get in court. Honey, they make sure that they catch you off guard. And I don't know why people acting oblivious to this. It's still really strange to me that there are people online advocating for Diddy to get off, saying that he's going to get off, and these people are lying on him. And I think we far past that. As a matter of fact, we've been past that. When that tape of Cassie got released to the public, we've been way past that. He has 70 civil suits, 70 plus, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's the number. 70 plus civil suits. This is the federal case, so it's the most serious because it's the criminal case that he's going to trial for right now. But he still have all those civil suits, and they could become criminal cases against him as well, which I believe they should. I talked about this before. Everybody going for money, and that's perfectly fine. If somebody did something to you, you have the right to do it in whichever way you want to do it. But I just think that it's really strange that a lot of those cases that have these very serious claims did not come for Diddy on a criminal level. What's up? Because you would just think that's what somebody would want to do. But I don't know. We're going to leave that where it's at because right now it's the federal case, which is the most serious one that's going on right now. And yeah, we still have a long list of celebrities that we don't know who they are or what involvement they have with this case. So we all eager to find out what that's about. And like I said a few days ago, that don't mean that everybody is guilty or that they did anything wrong or they're a co-conspirator in any way, because some of them could be perfectly and 100% innocent and they just added on the list because they was there, or they was around, or it was an event that they attended, or they can have a minor involvement in something but not on a criminal aspect. So we just never know what their name is on that list for, and I'm sure that all will be revealed in trial. But I just have a feeling that this is going to be a long, drawn out, complicated trial. Okay, I have that feeling. So much is coming out the woodwork, and it's difficult to keep up with because it's just constantly things going on. And next week is going to get even more hectic because they're going to reveal a lot of stuff, because in most of the documents, a lot of the documents that has been filed since he's been locked up since September, there was a lot of redacted information in those documents that will be uncovered during trial, and maybe because they still don't have to uncover everything, and they still can keep some things private during trial, depending on what it is. But more than likely, most of the things that were redacted over the past 7-8 months will be revealed, and it's going to be probably a lot of shocking names of involvement. That's another thing that, and I want to do a separate video on that, but it's just still so strange. And I told y'all I'm going to keep bringing this up. It's so strange that in those civil lawsuits, if you guys remember, we've been going over lawsuits for the past, like I said, 7-8 months. Oh, in those civil lawsuits, there's so many other celebrity names that was named or redacted, and we knew they were a celebrity, that is not in this criminal case. Diddy definitely supposed to have co-conspirators sitting right next to him during this trial. It still just don't make sense, but I'm gonna wait until next week and see what happened, because I'm gonna keep saying that he didn't do this alone. He didn't. He did not do this alone. Just like the situation with him, supposedly, the car situation with Kid Cudi. Do everybody think he's the one who went and did that? And if he did, where's the person that did that? Like I said, he didn't do this alone. I'm going to just leave it at that. And I'll talk about it more later after the trials, get underway next week. And we'll see what happened. This video is already too long. I talked too much already. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. And until next time, I'm out. Bye, y'all.